What's up guys, Perry here, and we are back with another Anime Vanguards video. In today's video, I'm going to do a quick little tier list highlighting what the best and worst units are. So I ordered the tier list for us, S tier being meta. This is best of the best. You want to get these guys as soon as possible. Support tier, A tier is good, B tier is decent, C tier is mid, and D tier is absolute garbage. We don't care about D tier. So let's just get D tier out of the way. All of the rares are D tier. Who would have guessed, right? The most common units are going to be the worst. And now we can move on to C tier. Well, we'll just go in order. Agony, support. He's a pretty solid support unit. And I believe he applies something called Repulse. And he does more damage to enemies that he repulses, or like he gets a buff when he repulses an enemy. I don't know what Repulse does. I'm assuming it's like maybe a slow mechanic. But yeah, Agony or Pain. He's a legendary, so he'll actually carry you through a good chunk of story. Next up, Alucard. Or Alucard. S tier, automatic S tier. He's a secret. In fact, he might be the best unit in the game at the time that I'm making this video, because I know Igris is good, but Alucard might be better. Don't quote me on that though, because the game's been out for a whopping 8 hours. So we haven't exactly gotten to test the DPS yet. Next up, Cha-In. Che-In. I really don't know where she's supposed to be from, but she is also going in S tier. She is one of the best DPS units in the game, even when she's not evolved. So she deserves an S tier. Gara, C tier. He's an epic, so obviously he's not going to be that good. Same thing applies to Genos. Genos is pretty good though, because he applies burn. His damage is just lacking a lot. Gon, I think we'll give him B tier. Either B tier or A tier, I'll decide later, but he's a legendary unit and he does decent damage. He does more damage than Pain, I'm pretty sure. His DPS is better than Pain. But he's not support, so we're not putting him in support tier. Grimmjow. He's gonna go below Gon. He has a cool passive, I guess. 150% more damage to enemies with Overshield. And he also does 10% extra damage to enemies on each consecutive hit. So that's that, I guess. Haruka Rin. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I have not tested this unit. I've never seen this unit. I believe there's a support unit. Don't quote me on that. I believe they're a support unit. I might be completely wrong on that though, so feel free to correct me if I am. I really have no idea where to place her. I've seen, like, I'm being so dead ass, I've seen no one use this unit. So I really don't know. Igris, S tier, automatic S tier. The second secret in this game, obviously he was going to be good. Like, is that even a question? You can obtain this guy by doing the legend stages for double dungeon. Anyone that thinks that's hard, trust me, if you have like one mythic, you can solo this. It is so laughably easy. The game is a little bit harder, like once you first start. I won't lie, it does get a little tough when you don't have mythics or legendaries, but trust me, just grind a little bit, get yourself at least one mythic, you'll be fine. And Nosuke, another C tier. Because he's an epic unit, his damage is just lacking. Next up, we have Itachi. Itachi's actually not bad. He has the burn passive, and he has another passive called Black Flames, which makes all enemies who are burning take 50% more damage from him, which is also pretty good. Kizaru is going to be our first A tier of the video. This guy's incredibly good. He might be the best legendary in the game in terms of damage, because although he doesn't do a ton of damage, he attacks super duper fast. Like, his SPA is like 1.9 seconds, I think, if you like get his stats a little bit better, which is just absolutely crazy. And like, this guy will easily carry you through all of story mode, I'm pretty sure. This guy's pretty good. Maybe not all of it, but most of it. Killua is also going into support, because I believe he stuns enemies. Stuns or slows them. Same thing goes for Kakashi. He has a stun ability on enemies. I don't know how I missed Luffy, but you're also in D tier. Next up, Naruto Six Tails. No one has actually... Okay, people have evolved them, obviously, but his unevolved version is kind of mid. I'll put him in A tier, but he's not an S tier unit. Obito is going in S tier. He does pretty good damage. Piccolo is also going in C tier, because he's an epic unit. Roku Dark, or Goku Black, is actually pretty decent. I think I'll put him in A tier. Actually, I want to rearrange this. I'm going to put Gon in A tier and put Goku Black at the top of B tier. I think that's fair. I think this is a fair rating. Shinji. Who is this guy? Shinji? Yeah. Shinji's also going in C tier. Song Jin-woo, all S tier. In fact, we might put this dude at like... Okay, you can put him at S tier or you can put him in support. Because he is a summoner unit, I believe. But I'm just going to put him in S tier for now. He is so goated. Multi-hit off placement, good damage. They just buffed him, so he costs less than he used to. He used to cost 2,000, now he only costs 1,700. This is one of the best mythics in the game. I highly implore you get this guy if you ever get the chance to. This dude's just so goated. Sasuke is also going in A tier. I'll put him above Naruto, but they're both kind of mid. Don't get me wrong, he's a mythic. He's a mythic, so he's obviously going to be good. But at the same time, his damage is just lacking compared to these guys. So if you get him, you can beat all of story mode with ease. But once you start doing that like late game, end game content, you might want to start looking into getting one of these 3 mythics right here. Ideally Sung Jae-woo, because this was just so goated. Speedwagon, best support in the game. He is the only farm unit, so I can't in good conscience not put him in support or put him at the top of support. Next up we have Vegeta, also going into S tier. I think I'll put him above Obito because I have more experience with Vegeta. This dude's pretty good. His passive gives him a 20% SPA buff, so he attacks a lot faster when there's no other units besides him in his range. What do I mean by that? You can spam 4 Vegetas right next to each other and they'll all have 20% more attack speed. But as soon as you place one unit within their range, they lose that attack speed. So, you know, that passive is a bit of a double-edged sword. You're going to have to be careful with your placements when you're using this guy, but he's pretty cheap to place, only 1,800. He's multi-hit, good damage, and he has good SPA with pretty decent range. He's an S tier unit for sure. Vegeta, D tier. Alligator is going in support, and he's honestly my favorite support unit in this game. I'm not going to put him above Speedwagon, but I am going to put him above Pain. Alligator is one of the most underrated support units in the game. And let me tell you why. This guy, he slows. He's cheap to place, you can spam him down, you can place 4 of him, and he does multi-hit off placement. So he's a great shield breaker, and trust me, you're going to need a shield breaking unit later in the story modes. Once you get into that Naruto story mode map, the Sand Ninja Village or whatever, and you start fighting the puppets with shields, oh my god, you're going to wish you have this guy. This guy single-handedly carried me through all of second story. Well, not single-handedly, obviously I had some DPS units, but this guy is just so valuable for your team. Great stall unit, great shield breaker, super versatile because he's super duper cheap. Like, and he's only an epic. On top of that, he's only an epic. There's no excuse to not get this guy unless you get super unlucky, but you'll probably get him. It takes like maybe 2 10 summons to get him. Like in 20 summons, I promise you'll get this guy. So that is my tier list for Anime Vanguards Update 0. I don't know what I'm going to title the video, probably like just Anime Vanguards tier list. These are all the units that we currently have in the game as of right now. They do plan on updating relatively soon because I heard one of the owners say we're 80% done with the next update. So maybe it'll come out next week, maybe it'll come out the week after that, who knows. But I believe this tier list is pretty accurate. So just to recap, S tier, these are the best DPS units in the game. If you have any one of these guys, you basically beat all of story mode, and you can probably solo any game mode as long as they're the right level. Support tier is support tier, that's pretty self-explanatory. Speedwagon is the only farm unit in the game, so make sure you get him. Alligator's pretty good, rest of these guys are also pretty good. I don't know where to put her. I'm just going to put her in support because I don't know what she does. Sasuke and Naruto are mid for mythic units. They're like the worst mythic units in the game, I'm not going to lie. But still, they're not bad. Kizaru is the best legendary in the game. The rest of these guys are okay. Like, if you get these guys, they'll help you in story mode a lot, so don't sweat it. And C and D tier are just not worth your time. So, with all that being said, that's going to wrap up my tier list for Anime Vanguards Update 0, the release tier list. And if you stuck around till the end of the video, thank you for watching. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Stay tuned for more content, and we'll catch you in the next one.